One of the things I see pretty frequently is people are, very good at saving. Maybe they've chipped away, they've saved all their money, but they're not investing in the stock market. So, understanding what you should be invested in, what your risk allocation should be, how you should go about that. That's one of the things I see pretty frequently. In fact, I had a client that came to me the other day, and she is a great saver. And she had about $100,000 she had set aside and saved, but it was all in a checking account, not even in a high yield savings account. So we talked about where that money should go, what that money is for, and we're able to come up with a really great investment strategy. Lifestyle inflation, or lifestyle creep, as I call it. It's kind of the keeping up with the Joneses. I think social media has done a good job of ruining a lot of things for people, and we're oftentimes comparing ourselves to everybody else, where they're going on vacation, what kind of car they're driving, what they're wearing, and that's caused this to be very problematic. So everybody's trying to keep up appearances, make sure they look successful, and they're not necessarily saving enough. They're focused on the today and the now, and not what retirement is going to look like for them. So things to do are just to, recognize that this is an issue, and remember kind of the general rule that comparison is the thief of joy. Be happy with what you have, and then have an airtight financial plan to make sure you're saving enough to get you through those golden years. The best time to start saving was yesterday. The second best time is today. So every day is a fresh start, regardless of if it's for saving, if it's for eating right, starting an exercise plan. Even if it's like me, I was in a bad mood yesterday. Today was a fresh start to be in a good mood. Every day is a fresh start. Even if you just start by saving a small nominal amount, maybe $20 a month, a week, whatever you can do to set aside, every day is a new opportunity. I think there's a lot of misconceptions about 401k matches. So people either think, one, that 3%, which is generally what you get, is enough. And so I'm only going to contribute 3% because my employer is only going to contribute 3%. Generally, that is not enough. So you need to be somewhere in the ballpark of 15 to 20% of your salary to be saving to have a successful retirement. So that would be one thing. Also, a lot of plans write tricky language in their, and I don't think they're trying to be tricky, but in their retirement plans where it's 50% of the first 6% and then 25% of the next. And so it's understanding what that really means, and really trying to maximize the amount that you get out of your employer when you're saving in a 401k. It's a nice benefit to have, but don't think that is the only thing that's going to cover your retirement. I went to school for finance, and so you think of somebody that goes to school for finance would be smart enough not to fall into some of the money traps. But like a lot of young people, I had student loan debt. I was working a career that probably didn't pay me enough. Again, I was trying to maybe keep up appearances, do some shopping. And so I fell into the trap of having credit card debt as well as student loan debt. And it felt really heavy and really restrictive. So something I did was I did that thing where I was like, today is a new day, it's a fresh start. And so I started journaling every expense that I had. And the first thing I would do when I got up is I would go and I would write down my expenses from the day before and the balance of my checking and my savings. At the end of the month, if I had any extra money, whether it was $20, $50, $8, regardless of what it was, I put that towards my debt until my credit card debt and my student loan debt were paid off. For me, writing it down made it real and made me understand where I was spending my money and where I shouldn't be spending my money. I will also say that the day I paid off my debts was one of the happiest days of my life. It really felt like that burden was lifted from me. having that relevant life experience really did help me be empathetic to other people and put myself in their shoes, and also understand, how you can build yourself out of it, how you can pull yourself out of that trap. I think the first step is knowing, right? So that's what we always say, is just realizing that there is an issue, and it can be any number of things. And then recognizing the behavior and understanding what triggers it also, because it's hard to start course correcting and going in the right direction and then have a relapse. Not beating yourself up when that happens too, because it probably will happen. And then just again, following that mantra of every day is a new day. I'm going to do better today. How can I improve today, right? It's not going to be completely linear to a perfect financial nirvana. It may take you a couple of missteps, a couple of backwards things, but you will get there. So understanding, recognizing, not beating yourself up, and finding someone who you can work with that you trust, or finding a source of information that you trust, is also very important.